accusing her of mortgage fraud. But she says she's not going anywhere but court to fight his order. Former federal prosecutor Lori Levinson.
Under the Federal Reserve Act, that's the law that charters the central bank, President Trump cannot just dismiss a governor because he doesn't like her policies. In fact, he can only dismiss a governor if he can demonstrate cause, which means professional neglect or malfeasance.
A powerful system called a haboob has blown through Arizona, blanketing the Phoenix area with dust. High winds and low visibility shut down all flights at Sky Harbor Airport for an hour. The same weather system caused thunderstorms that led to delays at the airport in Los Angeles. CBS meteorologist David Parkinson expects more to come.
Between now and Wednesday, we are likely to see more flash flooding and the potential for more dust storms in Arizona.
A wildfire threatening vineyards in Northern California is just 15% contained. A day of protest in Israel. Demonstrators torched tires and blocked highways, demanding a ceasefire in Gaza, where Yehuda Cohen's son Nimrod is among 50 hostages still being held.
Another day for protest, another day to make sure the issue of the hostages stays in high priority.
Prime Minister Netanyahu is expected to hold a security cabinet meeting today as Israel's offensive in Gaza continues. Eli Lilly says it now has the data it needs to file for approval of a weight loss pill.
Zepbound means change.
In the drug maker's latest clinical trial of pill forms of Zepbound and Mounjaro, overweight or obese people who are diabetic lost 22 pounds over 72 weeks.
This is transformational.
Dr. Louis Aroni is a consultant for Lilly.
So it's easier to make, doesn't have to be refrigerated. It's going to be significantly less expensive to produce.
Lilly's rival, Novo Nordisk, which makes the weight loss drug Wegovy, has already submitted its pill for FDA approval. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
A mysterious find along a dirt road in the Southwest.
Federal authorities are investigating the discovery of about 70 piles of human cremains near the rural community of Searchlight, Nevada, about an hour south of Las Vegas. Nevada law allows the scattering of human ashes on public land, but crematoriums and funeral homes are prohibited from doing the same thing.
CBS's Jim Krasula. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
It's 6:03. Let's have Chris Sullivan check traffic. And what's going on this morning, Chris?
Well, we've already had a couple of crashes this morning, and we've had a lot of construction overnight, Charlie. I'm going to start with the 167 corridor, which is slow out of the Sumner area. We had a crash just up near 24th, which is over on the right shoulder. And we've had some construction right at the 405 interchange. Overnight, they closed some of the ramps from northbound 167 to southbound 405. Not sure of the current configuration. I could use a little help there, but either way, we're at 25 minutes out of Auburn and 45 all the way out of Puyallup. I could also use some help from my drivers to let me know if we're still doing construction on eastbound 512 getting in through Canyon. I know last night there was a bunch of construction and people were stuck there. I'm still seeing some red there on the map. Overall, it's about a 50-minute trip from Puyallup to Renton, and then Renton to Bellevue is under 20. Federal Way to Seattle is about a 40-minute trip to start the day, only 35 from Olympia to Tacoma. And coming out of the north end, we're under 40 from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good Tuesday morning at 6:04. The FBI is now leading a major search near Leavenworth for Travis Decker, the man wanted in the murders of his 3 daughters nearly 3 months ago.
Federal, state, and local teams are combing the Rock Island campground area, the scene of the crime. Many hoped a press conference yesterday would bring a break in the case, but it did not.
And KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with what we've learned.
Yeah, 3 new pieces of information did come out of that press conference. Investigators are now expanding their forensic search for any new evidence, closing several campgrounds in that area, trails and roads. Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison says the search area has grown about a quarter mile out from that crime scene. He says it's a tactic based on behavioral analysis of Decker in similar cases.
Looking into similar cases, we found that historically and typically the youth found the homicide suspect and those responsible within a quarter mile of the scene, either alive and or deceased.
Also, FBI Special Agent Peter Orth says they wanted to plot a larger grid of what happened and where it happened to get as much data as they can, especially before the weather changes and possibly ruins any evidence they have not yet found. It is a big operation.
There are nearly 100 FBI and partner agencies personnel on the ground. We have specialty teams from the federal government all deployed here today and tomorrow for this operation.
And finally, investigators are using pretty sophisticated electronic equipment in this new search to do that grid, create that grid, and they seem to be preparing for a long search, possibly for Decker.
Anyone can pick up where we left off. We saw this with the Green River Killer case that started in the early 80s, expanded out in the early 2000s. I can tell you that a lot of the investigators that were assigned to that case had long since retired. Again, we want to lay that kind of foundation in case our investigation goes that long.
You know, there's no doubt friends and family of the victims, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, were all hoping for a different set of news yesterday at the press conference. We all thought that we were going to hear some big break in the case. You know, however, the search continues. Sheriff Morrison says they won't quit until they find Decker dead or alive.
Luke, thank you. Seattle police are searching for a suspect after a man was shot in Belltown last night.
This happened on 3rd Avenue and Blanchard Street, where a 47-year-old man was shot in the leg. This business owner tells KIRO 7 TV people in the neighborhood are frustrated.
It's always been a little gritty, and I love that. But this is something that's been we are not being allowed to live and enjoy this historical neighborhood.
The suspect took off before police arrived, and the firearm was reportedly taken by another person involved in the altercation who also left the scene. The victim was taken to Harborview in stable condition. Investigators are looking into what led to that shooting.
The area of the shooting is part of the soda zone laws, which went into effect last year. With that part of the story, here's KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas.
Those allowed a judge to banish drug offenders busted in a zone from re-entering that area for up to 2 years. Outside of that, we weren't really able to find any other Belltown-specific enforcement initiatives in recent years.
Parents in Arlington say they're relieved. A student who brought a loaded gun to school last year will not be coming back. King TV reports the 14-year-old was arrested in February after bringing a handgun with a bullet in the chamber and a full magazine. Parents had packed a school board meeting Monday night demanding action.
Labeling him rehabilitated while mandating constant teacher supervision, no backpack, and daily searches screams distrust, not reform.
This is unacceptable. It does not matter how many checks and balances are put in place. There will never be a time where somebody who's done that is considered safe.
District officials said last week they were legally required to offer him a return, but after meeting with the family, the district says the decision was to not return, and that was a mutual decision.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Well, here we are, Tuesday, August 26th. I'm Charlie. You are Amanda. Good morning.
Well, hello. One more hot day. We can do it.
Yeah.
We can do it.
It was a sweaty night for so many people last night. Hang in there. Relief is in sight. Sully is here. You got a choke point coming up, right?
Yeah, I do. Going to give you a little heads up on what you might do to try to avoid some of the Labor Day travel pain.
Oh, yeah. It's a holiday weekend coming up.
I'm going to be checking out things from the airport to ferries to what you're paying at the pump.
Okay, we'll have that. And, of course, David, you are all decked out in your Mariners attire. Cal Raleigh.
Oh, yeah. Yes, feeling good. The ebbs and the flows of being a Mariners fan do pay off when they're doing well.
Indeed.
And, hey, if we don't make the playoffs, at least we won the Vetter Cup, right? And that's something.
I think we're going to make the playoffs.
Better make the playoffs.
No jinxing.
All right. This hour of Seattle's Morning News is sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control.
And coming up this hour, New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold weighs in on threats from President Trump to deploy National Guard troops in Chicago, among other major cities.
And we'll have your personal finance update with Brian Evans from Madrona Financial Services and CPAs.
It's now 6:09. Truckloads of drugs off the street, cartel members behind bars. KIRO News Radio's Gwen Baumgardner explains the DEA's latest big bust.
It took 2 years and more than a dozen tactical teams, but this month, agents in Washington state struck a significant blow to the Sinaloa cartel, a Mexican drug trafficking organization and designated terrorist group. Special Agent David Reams with the DEA.
This group had dealt death and despair in our community.
13 members operating from Lacey to Whidbey Island are now behind bars, with law enforcement seizing arsenals of guns and drugs, enough lethal doses to kill most of Washington state. Special Agent Reams calls the recent drug bust a success, but says the Sinaloa cartel maintains a notable presence in Washington. Gwen Baumgartner, KIRO News Radio.
A Tukwila man with a long criminal history is heading to federal prison for drug trafficking. The U.S. Attorney's Office says 52-year-old Anthony Escoto was sentenced to 10 years for dealing meth and fentanyl. He was caught during a 2-year investigation into gangs tied to white supremacist groups. Escoto has prior convictions for assault, ID theft, drug crimes. Agents say he ordered pounds of meth and thousands of fentanyl pills over wiretaps. They also found guns in his home, which are illegal for a felon to have.
A federal judge has sentenced a Sela man to 5 years in prison for having child pornography. Prosecutors say 61-year-old Kevin Towner had thousands of illegal images on his electronic devices. He pleaded guilty earlier this year and admitted to using peer-to-peer networks to get the files. He'll be under federal supervision for 10 years after his release. The FBI says the case is part of a national effort to protect children from online exploitation.
Mariners kept it rolling last night, capturing a big win against the San Diego Padres 9-6. M's infielder Jorge Polanco had a great night, going 3-4 with 4 RBIs, a double, and this home run.
Swinging a drive deep down the left field line, and this one is gone. Goodbye baseball into Edgar's Cantina, into somebody's margarita. Jorge Polanco with a 1-iron. Straight away left field, a 2-run drive.
I didn't see it. Did that really happen? Or was he just saying?
No, but it was a missile right into the cantina there. So
oh, that's funny.
That's quite a visual, Rick. And Cal, he also got his 50th home run of the season last night. With the wins, the Mariners take the season series against the Padres, meaning they are the winners of the 2025 Vetter Cup. As a trophy, the M's received a 1963 Fender Telecaster guitar designed by Pearl Jam frontman Eddie Vedder. M's continue the series against the Padres today. They look to win this current home series and keep the good vibes rolling. First pitch at T-Mobile Park is at 6:40, and you can catch it on our sister station, 710 Seattle Sports.
I'd say Cal's getting hot again.
I would say
so fun.
So fun to watch.
Let's do it again tonight. It's 6:12 and time for a check on the weather. Brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors and KIRO 7's Robert Van Winkle is with us. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm the new guy on the weekends over here.
Welcome,
at KIRO
welcome.
7. How you guys doing?
Terrific. Cool it off, will you?
Well, I wish I could, but we still have one more pretty hot day. We got 5 days in a row with temperatures well above average this afternoon. We're going to get back up to 88 degrees on average. There could be a couple places that touch 90 again this afternoon. Skies will be partly cloudy. Overhead, some high, thin cirrus clouds are going to mean no rain for us. A couple of showers over the Cascades over the next couple of days indicate that the weather pattern should start to change for us in the next couple of days. And by the weekend, we're going to be back down into the 70s, which is where we should be for this time of year. So get ready, one more day. Gird your loins. It's going to be another very hot afternoon.
Or whatever it is you need to do. Robert, thank you so much. We have sunshine this morning in the city at 64 degrees.
My loins are girded.
I don't want to hear about your loins,
waiting for
buddy.
Sully to check traffic.
Sully is terrified.
Robert doesn't know what he did to all of us.
My loins are always girded.
How's the traffic, though?
We're still struggling on 167 northbound, right there at 405 because of some construction. Our good friend, the Countess, is out already running folks around in her fabulous car, and we are looking at she said all the construction is done there, but we're just really heavy from before 180th on in. Not too bad in Auburn. Still seeing some slowing out of Sumner after an earlier crash near 24, so it's still about 50 minutes from Puyallup to Renton, probably 15 minutes slower overall than you might have expected. Rest of the map down there in Pierce County doesn't look bad at all, and then Federal Way to Seattle's running under 40 minutes. Renton to Bellevue's under 20. The Lake Bridges are fine. Coming down from the north end, a little bit of braking through Canyon Park, a little bit through Linwood on I-5. Overall, under 40 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app and stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams.
It's 6:14 and Katrina Gashardi is here. Lil Nas X is in a little bit of trouble, Katrina.
Just a little bit. The rapper has been charged with 4 felonies.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
And it's in connection to an early morning altercation with LAPD officers just last week. Those driving by caught Lil Nas X on video.
Didn't I tell you to put the phone down?
He was walking in just underwear on Ventura Boulevard. Prosecutors say he charged at police who confronted him suspecting a possible overdose. They took the 26-year-old to a hospital before arresting him. A judge has now ordered Lil Nas X to attend 4 Narcotics Anonymous meetings a week while awaiting a hearing next month.
4 felonies. Wow.
Yeah, it looked like he was having some serious issues in
Yeah.
that video. Okay, thank you, Katrina. It's 6:15.
Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime. Seattle's morning news, wherever you are.
It's Tuesday, and on Tuesdays, we call up New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold to talk about the big national stories of the week.
And David, good morning. Let's start with the latest threat from President Trump. This one aimed at Chicago, saying he's going to send the National Guard to that city to crack down on crime there. Is this going to happen?
Well, he's talked about it off and on. Even yesterday, he was, would say he wouldn't and then say he was. I think he, as always, he loves the suspense. He can do this, although he has less power than he would in D.C. In D.C., he could take over the local police department as well. There, he could just send in some National Guard troops to patrol around. Remember, the National Guard are not trained for police work. They're trained for crowd control at best. So putting them in a city like Chicago where the real problem is poverty and unsolved murders and a bunch of other stuff that's more complicated than just standing in the street, I don't know how much difference they're going to make.
Now, the Illinois governor, J.B. Pritzker, says he doesn't want this to happen. What if Pritzker were to say no and President Trump said, we're sending troops in anyway?
Well, you never repeated what you had in California a few weeks ago, where the president has the power to federalize a state National Guard and send them to places he wants. So he could do that to the Illinois National Guard. I guess he could also, send in other states' National Guards. But I think Pritzker doesn't have the power to stop it, probably. But it will be, as I said, a different situation than California, where there were protests to guard, and in D.C., where Trump has more power.
What about the situation in D.C.? It was a 30-day process, right, to bring in the Guard and let them stay, and now Congress has to approve an extension. Is that going to happen?
I don't know. Congress might do that. The 30-day clock is on Trump being able to control the D.C. police. So that will run out, and he may get an extension from Congress. The National Guard he can keep there for longer, and the sort of swarms of federal agents that he has here from all kinds of different agencies that are just walking around in huge packs looking for people who are drinking out of an open container, that can continue too for as long as he wants. The question is just how long they do that, just given that it's taking these people away from their actual jobs.
You mentioned that the District of Columbia is just that, a federal district, so National Guard troops from anywhere can be sent there. But you also touched on National Guard troops from other states potentially being sent to Illinois or any of these other places. That seems like a different thing entirely.
It would be, and I don't think that Trump or the other governors would want to do that in a situation where it's not the District of Columbia, sending into another state. It really sets a bad precedent. And what would you want to send your Guard troops, if you're Indiana or whatever, to send your Guard troops to a state where they're not from and they're obviously not welcome? It just seems like a bad situation. That said, if it's legal, Trump might try to do it.
Let's talk about something else. The president is threatening networks ABC and NBC over what he calls bad stories. He's always targeted the media. The threats are to pull the broadcast licenses for these networks. Does he actually have the power to do that?
Well, the FCC, which is run by a guy who wears a Trump lapel pin, a pretty big Trump flunky, could theoretically do that if it decided that there was, some cause to revoke their broadcast licenses. But that is a cudgel he can hold over their head. Hasn't been done forever. Nixon was the last one who really talked about doing it. So yes, he could do that, and that was the implicit threat behind this lawsuit that ABC News settled at the beginning of Trump's term. So I don't think you could do that for saying that they ran an unfair story, but Trump might try.
Could you maybe talk about how different this is than previous Democratic or Republican administrations?
What we're seeing here in all these different ways is the powers of the presidency used to punish the personal enemies of the president. And, cities where the governors have been critical of him, in this case, news networks that bother him. That's what happens in third world countries. That's what happens in autocracies, places like Hungary or Russia. It's not what happens in America. So Trump is using these folks that he's found to put in these positions, people that are more pliant and more subservient than in his first administration, and trying to use them to shut down basically criticism of stories he doesn't like. That's not supposed to happen in the United States. We have the First Amendment that protects the freedom of the press. So we'll see how far that it goes, but it's certainly a step beyond anything any previous president has tried to do, at least in the modern era.
We're talking with New York Times investigative reporter David Fahrenthold. David, we've seen another firing by social media. President Trump announced he's firing Fed Governor Lisa Cook. What is he claiming she has done, and can he do that?
Well, he is claiming that she lied on mortgage applications a few years ago, that she said in 2 applications for 2 different houses that each one was going to be her primary residence. It's not a proven allegation. We haven't seen the documents. Certainly she hasn't been charged with a crime or convicted of a crime. She has said it's not true. So what the law allows him to do is fire Federal Reserve governors for cause, usually meaning that they've done something bad in office or they've been convicted of a crime. It's not a well-defined term for cause, but he is claiming that this meets the definition. And what will probably happen is we'll go to the Supreme Court and they'll decide what his powers are in this situation.
Does Fed Chair Jerome Powell have anything to worry about here with this firing?
Well, Jerome Powell is leaving his office anyway. His term is expiring next year. So this is not really about his job. Trump has talked idly about firing him before, but hasn't done it. I don't think he will. This is about building, a set of pro-Trump people on the Fed board to vote on rate decreases. Lisa Cook, the one he's trying to fire, her term it goes till 2038. So if he were actually to succeed in getting rid of her, then he could probably just fire the rest of them and stack it with people who are his loyalists who would want to lower rates. Now, this is one of those things that, it would be bad for our democracy if he did that, and also bad for Trump. If he lowers the rates, we're going to have inflation, and things are going to be much worse for him.
Well, we never have a lack of things to chat about. So thanks, David. We appreciate your time as always. New York Times investigative reporter David Fahrenthold.
And President Trump yesterday floated returning the Department of Defense to its prior name, calling it the Department of War. He argues the name it's held since the 1940s is, in the president's words, too defensive. News outlets report Trump could make a final decision and announcement about the name change within the next week.
Lilly is going to file for FDA approval of a pill form of its weight loss drugs. We get more from CBS News correspondent Michael Wallace.
Zepbound means change.
In the drug maker's latest clinical trial of pill forms of Zepbound and Mounjaro, overweight or obese people who are diabetic lost 22 pounds over 72 weeks.
This is transformational.
Dr. Louis Aroni is a consultant for Lilly.
So it's easier to make, doesn't have to be refrigerated. It's going to be significantly less expensive to produce.
Lilly's rival, Novo Nordisk, which makes the weight loss drug Wegovy, has already submitted its pill for FDA approval. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Coming up on 623 here, we check traffic for you every 10 minutes on the threes. Here's Sully.
And 167 continues to be our least behaving road at this particular moment. We've had some construction overnight. We had a crash early this morning, and it is still a lot heavier than it should be on northbound 167 from before 180th up towards 405, and that's where we had the construction. And so it's still 50 minutes from Puyallup up to Renton, with more than 25 of that from Auburn, and it's really not too bad in Auburn itself. It's really up at the north end. Once you get through that, Renton to Bellevue is about a 20-minute trip, so pretty average for you guys. We're also seeing the brake lights out of Sumner. We had a crash near 24th. All of the construction backup has gone away on eastbound 512, so that's pretty good. It looks pretty decent between I-5 and Puyallup. I-5 in Tacoma, not bad. Some brake lights up the hill to 18. Federal Way to Seattle's about 45 minutes now. Nothing really super significant. Coming down from the north end, a little braking by the Everett Mall, a little bit through Linwood, Mount Lake Terrace on I-5. About 42 minutes from Everett to Seattle. 45 from Everett to Bellevue as the brake lights are starting to show up in earnest. They're right past 527 there in Canyon Park. The lake bridges are still in very good shape. This report brought to you by Superior Linen Service. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company look good with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. SUPLinen.com.
Our forecast, we have to make it through one more hot day. 88 in Seattle today, and tomorrow you're going to wake up to some clouds with sunshine in the afternoon and only 81. Pretty much the same deal on Thursday, and as you head into the Labor Day weekend on Friday, mostly sunny, 85, but mid-70s through Monday. Right now in Seattle, sunshine and 64.
Coming up, we'll have KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey on the investigation underway in Belltown. There was a shooting there yesterday, and a big deal for Boeing. We'll talk about it in the opening bell report.
The John Curley Show.
Don't worry. Everybody don't panic.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
When the president wants an executive order, by the way, it's going to get challenged because Congress is the one that makes all the rules to allow each state to determine how they want to do the voting. And Trump right now, he's certainly getting a lot of executive orders out there. Still the record holder is FDR. I think he's got more than 3,400 or something like that. So nobody took over the federal government and ran it like a king, like FDR.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Lowe's knows tough jobs call for tougher tools. The new DeWalt Elite Series power tool accessories are built to last for the pro who doesn't stop. With precision fitment, durability, and impact resistance, finishing jobs faster has never been easier. Shop the new DeWalt Elite Series at an everyday low price exclusively at Lowe's. We help, you save.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Hey, it's Brock Heward. My family did it, and it saved us thousands. You got to do it. Take the First Mark Insurance Challenge. It's free. See how much First Mark can save you and how much better coverage you can get. They work for you. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Shop incredible end-of-summer savings at the Dania Furniture Labor Day sale. For a limited time, take up to 70% off select modern furniture and decor for every room in your home. Stop by one of our 4 local showrooms today or shop online at daniafurniture.com.
You know that cartoon of the three-eyed fish swimming in polluted water next to a nuclear power plant?
Yeah, classic.
I used to think that was real, but I just learned that nuclear energy waste isn't some glowing green goo. It's actually used fuel rods from nuclear reactors that made electricity.
Wait, so no barrels of leaking sludge?
No, solid used fuel rods are safely stored at all the nuclear power plants in the U.S., including the one in Richland.
So the cartoon fish isn't real?
Not even close. Learn the facts about nuclear energy and used fuel at energy-northwest.com.
Apparently, I have the ankles of a 70-year-old person instead of a 45-year-old person.
This is Carrie, and her love for gymnastics and dance was starting to take a toll on her body.
There's a group of us that actually did adult gymnastics. I'm sure that wasn't good for my body either.
So, of course, she sought treatment for those rapidly aging ankles.
I started seeing a new podiatrist. Even those treatments weren't working.
And that's when someone close to her recommended Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine.
It was my therapist that told me about Dr. Wagner. I did not know there was such a thing as stem cells. I started researching. I thought it was super fascinating.
And how has the treatment worked so far?
I used my crutches to leave the office. After that, I never used my crutches again.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, knee, or old ankles, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
If I won the lottery, I would get stem cells from Dr. Wagner on every joint in my body.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. Ever wanted to try cold plunge? Our Cold Plunge for a Cause event is the perfect opportunity. Visit our showrooms in August where we have our new Vigor Cold Plunge displayed. Bring your suit and take the plunge. Olympic will donate $50 for every minute you soak to Charity Water. This wonderful nonprofit brings life-giving clean waters to communities around the world. Find details and sign up today at olympichottub.com.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Summer is the perfect time for a new roof. Take advantage of our easy financing, summer specials, and the best warranty in the business. Have a great summer. See you next hockey season. Trust Techline.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's Morning News.
Good morning. It's 6:30, and we are here on Seattle's Morning News. Police are on the hunt for a gunman after a man was shot in the leg in Belltown last night.
The shooting has detectives looking for answers and neighbors frustrated. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is live with the latest.
Yeah, that 47-year-old victim was shot at 3rd Avenue in Blanchard during the evening rush hour around 6 o'clock last night. Neighbors have had it with crime in that area, they tell us. Listen to what this shop owner told KIRO 7 TV.
It's always been a little gritty, and I love that. But this is something that's been we are not being allowed to live and enjoy this historical neighborhood.
And police say right before they got to that scene, there was a fight between several people. The suspect pulled out a gun and fired. Another person involved in that altercation took the gun away from the shooter, then ran away. The suspect also took off, police say. The victim was taken to Harborview Medical Center in stable condition. Police say they have video of that shooting, and they're looking at it, and they're studying it. We'll see if it leads to an arrest.
Luke, thank you. A renewed and intense search for the accused killer, Travis Decker. It's underway right now in the Cascades.
And we get the latest from KIRO News Radio's Heather Bosch.
Led by the FBI, 100 people are conducting a meticulous grid search surrounding the campsite near Leavenworth, where Travis Decker's 3 daughters were found murdered. Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison.
We found that historically and typically that you found the homicide suspect within a quarter mile of the scene, either alive and or deceased.
If they don't find him now, he says the information they gather will help future investigators.
Anyone can pick up where we left off. We saw this with the Green River Killer case.
Morrison vowing,
we will not relent. We will not give up until this investigation is concluded.
Until Decker is found dead or alive. Heather Bosch, KIRO News Radio.
Campgrounds in the search area are closed, but are expected to reopen tomorrow. You should check the Forest Service website for updates.
Washington's wildfire season started nearly a month early, fueled by widespread drought conditions and low snowpack. But has it been as fiery as experts predicted? Here's KIRO News Radio's Gwen Baumgardner.
As Washington's wildfire season burns on, there's been a number of notable moments. Take the Bear Gulch fire burning in the Olympic National Forest, one of the area's largest wildfires in decades. The Department of Natural Resources predicted an above-average wildfire season, but so far, the acreage burned is below the state's 10-year average. Good news.
I would say that a great deal of why we're seeing that lower number is the firefighting efforts that we've been putting in.
Ryan Rudruck is with DNR. He says while the number of ignited fires is on par with years past, crews are using more resources and greater manpower to extinguish fires quickly. Gwen Baumgardner, KIRO News Radio.
Police say a man started a fire inside a 7-Eleven in Enumclaw after being denied free gas and food. Enumclaw police say he locked himself in the store office early Sunday morning and refused to come out. Smoke started rising from the roof and firefighters were called in. Officers opened the doors and ordered him to surrender. He came out drenched and gave up. Police say he admitted to lighting cigarette packs to start the fire. He's now being held for investigation of second-degree arson.
It's 6:33. Let's check in with Chris Sullivan with traffic on the threes.
And we continue to deal with this crash on northbound 167, about 24th as you come up out of Sumner. Right shoulder's been blocked for the better part of the last hour, but just a little bit of slowing around it. The state trooper's still there as its lights on, so it's right there where 24th comes on, so you might have a little bit earlier merge than normal. That's probably the explanation. At the north end, we're getting a lot better, but still have about a 50-minute trip for you to go from Puyallup to Renton. Then Renton to Bellevue is about 25 to 28 minutes, so we're starting to see things heat up there. Olympia to Tacoma, no issues. Some brake lights up the hill to 5 to 18, but not bad. 45 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle. Out of the north end, you need about 45 from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Heaviest brake lights there are definitely getting into and through Canyon Park on 405. The lake bridges are still in very good shape, and we continue to see slowing on eastbound to 18 right near the Raging River. We had reports of a crash there last hour, and I don't have a camera there. So if you're one of our good friends hauling freight today, let me know what you're seeing down the east slope there or the north slope there of Tiger Mountain. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Our forecast, we have to make it through one more day of heat. Our heat advisory remains in effect. 88 in Seattle today with a mix of clouds and sun. Tomorrow cooling off to about 81. Again, mix of clouds and sun. And then Thursday, 82, 85 Friday. Partly to mostly sunny through the Labor Day weekend with highs in the mid-70s where they should be. Right now in Seattle, sunshine and 64.
6:35, time for the opening bell report. President Trump says he's removed Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook from the Fed's Board of Governors. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has more.
I'll fire her if she doesn't resign. In an unprecedented move last night, President Trump said he's firing Federal Reserve Board Governor Lisa Cook, accusing her in a letter of lying on mortgage applications. The Trump administration also cited the allegations in a criminal referral to the Justice Department. Cook was appointed by former President Joe Biden and confirmed in 2022 as the first black woman to serve as a Fed governor, a critical position overseeing the nation's monetary policy that's supposed to be independent from the administration. In a statement to Politico, her attorney fired back, calling the president's action illegal and vowing to challenge it. We're keeping the rates high, and it's hurting people. The move comes as President Trump has been publicly pushing the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates, and it could test the central bank's independence, with presidents allowed to remove Fed governors only for cause.
Boeing has landed a major deal with Korean Air. The carrier is committing to a record purchase of 103 Boeing jets. The company says that would be the biggest sale to an Asia-based airline. The deal includes 777s, 787 Dreamliners, and 737 MAX jets.
Seattle is the top Labor Day travel destination in the country, according to AAA. City beat out Orlando, New York, and Boston. AAA says it's partly because of cruise departures and big events like Bumbershoot and the State Fair. Also seeing lower prices. Flights and hotels are cheaper than last year.
Seattle has lost one of its most creative minds. Gordon Bowker, co-founder of Starbucks and Red Hook Brewery, has died at the age of 82. Bowker was behind the quirky Rainier beer ads from the 70s and 80s, also helped design the original Starbucks mermaid logo. His friend, Zev Siegel, says Bowker loved building things from scratch and telling stories. According to the Seattle Times, he helped launch Seattle Weekly, reviewed restaurants, and even got into real estate for a time. Bowker met Siegel and Jerry Baldwin in college, and together they started Starbucks.
After 13 years on Capitol Hill, Mamnoon is saying goodbye. The popular Levantine restaurant will close for good September 14th. Owner Wasef Haroun says business has dropped by nearly half since 2023. He points to parking problems, more restaurants in other neighborhoods, and fears about the city. According to the Seattle Times, he and his wife opened Mamnoon in 2012. It was their way of sharing the food and culture they grew up with. The name means thankful, and Haroun says that's how he feels, but wishes they could continue.
If you have $75 million lying around, this Seattle mansion could be yours. It's the most expensive home for sale in the city this year. It's hosted some big names, including President Barack Obama. The Georgian-style estate sits right on Lake Washington in the Denny Blaine neighborhood, on the same street where Nirvana's Kurt Cobain once lived. The home has 5 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, 12 fireplaces. It also comes with a private beach, a dock, and a lakeside garden pavilion. According to Zillow, there is a pool and a spa tucked into this 1.5-acre property. I checked out the listing on Zillow.
Yeah.
Not quite my style.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'd be in.
For $75 million. Well, today, one of the most celebrated days of the year for coffee drinkers. Starbucks unveils their new fall menu, and it includes a fan favorite, the PSL, the pumpkin spice latte.
It's going to be 88 degrees today.
Yeah, it doesn't seem right.
Well, they do have the
you can have it
pumpkin
iced, right?
cream cold brew.
Okay.
Which is, that's one of my personal favorites. But
should people just maybe write into the text line, hey, David, what's your coffee recommendation? You're a former barista.
I will certainly give it, though I don't think anyone actually
Okay. They also have the tiramisu latte, a coffee hazelnut brioche, and a pumpkin s'mores tart. PSL is available through November.
I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. Trading's underway on Wall Street, and stocks are starting the day lower. The Dow's down about 16 points at 45,265. S&P 500 is down 4, and the NASDAQ is down 251 right now.
Now, a word for KIRO 7 News live, starting at 4. It's news that puts you there so you can see for yourself. News that's happening now so you're ready. News that investigates to get you answers. News that's local because where you live matters. Know more, know now on KIRO 7 News at 4, 5, and 6 p.m.
It's 6:39 right now. Chris Sullivan, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're going to take a look at the slowing coming up out of the Sumner area, northbound 167. We'll break it down for you next.
The opening bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
The John Curley Show.
I think the most talented person who's here, and it's John Curley.
By the way, that's my ringtone right there, Coach K.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
We were at this party and I said to you, what about Caitlin Clark? What do you about Caitlin Clark? And you said, Curley, you don't know anything about basketball. Let me tell you something.
Sue Bird is the ultimate point guard. I love Sue Bird. Seattle was so very fortunate to have her as her idol, as her hero.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Your car steering wheel could be a ticking time bomb. At least 24 people have died and many more injured because their airbags fired shrapnel at them upon inflating. Tens of millions of cars have been recalled. If you suffered cuts that required stitches, hearing or vision loss, or broken bones, please contact us today. You could be owed money for medical bills and other damages.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit us at badairbags.com for an office near you. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
When you walked through your kitchen this morning, what'd you see? Did it make you happy? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Well, I want to make you happy. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves, whatever you like. We'll help you to create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, time, and expense than to tear out. Stop waiting. For 18 years, we've been honored to serve thousands of happy customers, and we'd love to serve you. Call today, and I'll get one of our pros to come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
6:43. Chris Sullivan is watching the roads this morning.
Well, it's finally getting a little bit better on northbound 405. Northbound 167. We had been up to about 50 minutes, back down to about 45 now that the north end has really cleared out. Turns out from some of my drivers that there'd been a stalled semi up near the north end that really kind of held us down. And so overall, 45 minutes to make that trip. Not too bad at this point. Renton to Bellevue is under a half an hour, so that's pretty good. Northbound I-5, Federal Way to Seattle's cruising along at about 50 minutes now. We've got 30 of those minutes from South Center. Lake bridges are still in very good shape. Coming down from the north end, we're looking at about a 50-minute trip now from Everett to Bellevue. 45 or less from Everett to Seattle. The brake light's not as bad as they could be. Taking a look at the trestle, westbound 2 is pretty heavy on the east side there, which is making it heavy coming down the hill out of Lake Stevens. For those of you heading to the airport, like my good friend Pat right now, not too bad out of Seattle. Nice and easy to make it down to the airport. This traffic report brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
And our forecast, Richard on the YouTube channel said, has anyone else seen this gorgeous California orange and purple sunrise? So what did I do? I ran through the newsroom to the window.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Our listeners have the best tips.
I'm sure there will be pictures around, but it is going to be hot. It's very pleasant right now, just to some scattered clouds. Our high today, 88, so one more day of the heat. Tomorrow, you'll wake up to some clouds in the morning, a high of only 81, sunshine by afternoon, and then just a mix of clouds and sun right on through the end of the week. By the weekend, we'll be down to the mid-70s. Right now in Seattle, sunshine, a few clouds, and 64.
At 6:45, a Coldplay concert turned into a real-life rom-com. Here's Katrina Gishard with details.
Lead singer Chris Martin spotted a fan's sign asking to propose, so he jumped in to help, but not before running a few security checks.
Is this person your partner? Yes, no one else's partner, okay? Okay. Are you cousins or siblings or anything weird like that? No. Okay. Are you AI or made from, are you real people? Okay. Then I think we can continue.
All right, once cleared, the groom-to-be got down on one knee, and the bride-to-be said yes, sealing it with a kiss. Martin congratulated the couple, wishing them happiness. It's a much sweeter moment than the Jumbotron kiss cam incident in Boston last month.
You'd think he would stay out of these things.
Yeah. I'm starting to think these are all a hoax.
You think?
This is like just plants
publicity?
in the audience. Those people never really existed.
The video was really sweet.
All right. Katrina, thank you. Coming up here on Seattle's Morning News, your personal finance update from Brian Evans at Madrona Financial Services and CPAs.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from Nunn Better Tax Resolution. When it comes to the technology that the IRS is using, they're updating systems that haven't been updated in decades. And while that might sound great for them, it's usually bad for the taxpayer who owes.
It is, and their systems, unfortunately, they're just legacy systems. If you try to make an inquiry on some things, it's like you got to know how to use programming language to find it. But they are working on updating that system, and I hope that really they do, because they'll serve us better, the taxpayer better, and get things done quicker. The other thing they're doing is AI, just like every organization. So they're already using it to some extent to put in profile of certain things that they want to look for in a taxpayer and find those people and go after them or see what's going on, why they're not getting their money.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn, Nunn Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967, or Google NUNN, Nunn Better Tax Resolution.
Send off summer with the power of zero at Kendall Ford of Marysville. Get 0% APR, make zero down payment, and have zero payment for up to 90 days on select new Fords. Go electric and save an incredible $17,000 off MSRP on a new all-wheel drive 2024 Ford F-150 Lightning Pro Crew Cab, and get 0% APR. Save over $2,300 off MSRP on a new 2025 Ford Mustang Mach-E Select, and get 0% APR. Save over $2,300 off MSRP on a new 2025 Ford Bronco Sport Big Bend 4x4. Check out the savings and stop by Kendall Ford of Marysville today. Kendall, let's start something great.
VIN number RWG 33493, SMA 24296, and SRE 72794. $2083 per month for $1,000 finance, subject to credit approval before credit. Interest will accrue during the deferred payment period. All factor rebates subject to change. Price does not include taxes, title, or license. A negotiable documentary service fee of up to $200 may be added to the sale price of the vehicle. Subject to prior sales, see dealer for details. Offer expires 9/2/25.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Struggling to stay cool? Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors and experience significant heat reduction and up to 30% savings on your utility bills. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Time now for another personal financial update brought to us by Madrona Financial and CPAs. Brian Evans is here. Brian, I think a lot of us want to live a retirement where we're making plenty of money and we're not paying taxes. Life is good. but you have maybe an opinion that mom and dad might not necessarily appreciate at first. What is that?
Yeah, I have a lot of people. I've been on CPA for a long time, 40 years now. And a lot of people come to me and I need you to get me out of paying taxes. I mean, no. That is not the objective here. What you want to do is pay the least amount of taxes over a long period of time. That's good tax planning. But getting that 0% bracket is not only not realistic for a lot of people, it's actually detrimental if you're getting down there and then someday you're going to be in a higher bracket.
Yeah, you say it might actually backfire on some people. How so?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, not only by taking too much out of your taxable income now, you're pushing it off probably into the future where you're going to pay tax on it someday anyway. But it also limits the investments that you can be in. I know there's programs out there right now where advisors are pushing the zero bracket. All that means is you're going to buy a whole lot of life insurance and do a whole lot of Roth conversions and pay a whole lot of tax now and never pay it again. But there are some really low brackets out there that a lot of people don't really consider. I love paying taxes at lower brackets, if I can. And so a lot of people are able to do that.
And there are strategies one can use in order to aim for the bracket, not get stuck with either zero or the highest bracket possible.
That's right. A married couple can make almost $100,000 a year in taxable income. And if they're below that, they can sell capital gain property and pay 0% bracket in their capital gains tax. Or there's a 12% bracket out there. I love that bracket. If you can max that out, that's a good thing. So offer it up at 12, maybe by doing Roth conversions, so that you can avoid future tax brackets that might be a whole lot higher for you.
What are some examples that you have had with your clients that you've really been able to optimize this for them?
Well, the first thing is I have that discussion about them. Paying taxes is not a bad thing. We're lucky we're in a country where we get to do that and we get things for it. It's just that, I think you want to do smart tax planning around that. One of my books I wrote, one of the chapters is called Don't Let the Tax Tail Wag the Dog. And I really get in the way of tax planning sometimes. I know that's what I do a lot of that, but where you make that your objective, that can be a bad thing. Make your life, living the life you want to live, be your objective, and then worry about the tax part with that. Do proper planning around that, but don't just plan your life around your tax planning.
Okay, and if we want to find out more, you are the guy to talk to.
Well, our firm, absolutely. We got 35 people there. We have a CPA firm and a financial advisory firm. So absolutely, we can talk the talk on this topic.
All right. Brian Evans from Madrona Financial and CPAs. You can always catch our conversation on Tuesday mornings on KIRO News Radio. It's on Seattle's Morning News. And, of course, just click right below to find out more. Brian, thanks for your time today.
It's now 6:52. The Trump administration has converted about $9 billion worth of grants to Intel, including for it to build a computer chip-making plant in Ohio, into actual stock in the company. The president says he's looking to make much more deals with American companies. CBS News' Jolene Kent is trying to figure it all out since it's not considered some kind of industrial emergency.
Similar actions have happened before. You'll remember during the financial crisis, the U.S. government took stakes in Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and they stepped in to bail out Chrysler and General Motors from collapse. But it's important to note here, this is potentially the first of many deals, and it's a $9 billion stake. It's the remainder of the CHIPS Act money under President Biden, and the Biden administration originally said Intel had to meet certain goals to get this taxpayer money. But now President Trump has removed those goals.
Larger customers on one airline will soon have to pay up.
For those who cannot fit within the armrests of one seat, Southwest Airlines will soon require plus-size travelers to pay for an extra seat in advance. As it stands, larger travelers can pay for an extra seat in advance and later get a refund. But under the new policy, the airline says refunds are still possible, but not guaranteed. The new mandate starts on January 27th, the same day Southwest begins assigning seats, different from its long-standing open seating policy. Matt Piper, CBS News.
Did they define plus size?
You basically, if you can't fit within the armrest,
gotcha.
That is when you need to pay extra.
It's 6:53. Let's check the drive. We do have some issues this morning, and Sully is watching our traffic.
And the good news is, man, a lot of them have kind of cleared up. We got a stalled semi out of the way on northbound 167 right at 405, and we've kind of gotten a little bit past this crash at 24th coming out of Sumner. It's still over on the right-hand shoulder, but we are dealing with, I'd say, about a 45-minute trip now to make it from the Puyallup area into the Renton area and, of course, out of Auburn.
It's a reminder that, yes, it doesn't get there very often, and only when it really has to.
Hit the $15 mark coming up out of Auburn. It will save you a couple of minutes. Renton to Bellevue, not quite a half an hour now, and we're definitely sitting on about 50 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle. Some brake lights up past the Kent Des Moines Road, but the show's really past the West Seattle Bridge. Behind that, the Olympia to Tacoma Drive is running under 40 minutes, which is great. The lake bridges are fine. Coming down from the north end, pretty much a yellow drive between Linwood and Shoreline. That means you're off and on, going a little under the speed limit, but not bad. A lot of red from Canyon Park down through 522 in Bothell. So we're going to put it at about 50 minutes from Everett into Bellevue and about 44 to go from Everett to Seattle. So all in all, we're not in that bad a place. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube, click subscribe, and you can get fresh video content daily.
We are in for another warm, hot day, upper 80s today, right around 80 tomorrow. Then we cool down to the 70s over the Labor Day weekend. Right now in Seattle, it is 62.
Coming up, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has some new details in the ongoing manhunt for Travis Decker.
And Sully, you have a Labor Day checkpoint.
Yes, I'll tell you how to get through it in a choke point.
Checkpoint.
It's hot.
It's Seattle's Morning News here on KIRO News Radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale, up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed, plus free premium delivery with any smart bed and adjustable base. Ends Labor Day. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm, totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Open Phone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Open Phone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Open Phone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Open Phone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Open Phone. Open Phone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Open Phone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
Spike O'Neill here with Dr. Matthew Sharp, owner of Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens. Dr. Sharp, I am amazed at the brightness and the clarity that I didn't even realize I'd lost before I had my procedure. How's that even possible?
A lot of people don't realize that. As you get older, the lens not only is less flexible, but it gets less transparent, and gradually, even in our 40s, 50s, 60s, the lens variety does get less transparent. So you get more glare at night, more halos, loss of contrast sensitivity, loss of some color vision or decreased color
exactly
vision.
What I was seeing.
And so when we replace that lens that gets cloudier and cloudier with a crystal clear lens, all of the light gets through, all of the clarity, all the brightness, all the colors. And again, with the multifocal lenses that we have, it's sort of like a bifocal built in, so you can see near and far.
Give the folks at Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens a call at 425-451-2020 or online at sharp-vision.com. Sharp with an E-vision.com.
Hey, Brock Heward here. Taking the First Mark Insurance Challenge could save your family a lot of money. It saved us thousands. First Mark works for you. Search in the carriers for lower rates and better coverage. If that sounds smart, go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump has fired Federal Reserve Board Governor Lisa Cook. He accuses her of mortgage fraud. She says she won't step down. CBS's Kelly O'Grady.
The law is very murky when it comes to what exactly cause is. Is it an allegation of fraud? Is it a charge? Is it a conviction? And so I spoke to a number of legal scholars overnight when this came out, and they said this is absolutely going to be challenged in the courts, and it could even go as far as the Supreme Court.
The president's been calling out the Fed for months for not raising interest rates. The Trump administration is warning California, Washington, and New Mexico to make sure they enforce English language requirements for truckers or face the consequences. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
We are going to give these states 30 days to come into compliance with truck drivers speaking proficiently the English language, or we're going to look at federal funding.
The rule went into effect in June. Last week, a truck driver in Florida was accused of making an illegal U-turn in an accident that killed 3 people. The Trump administration says he was in the U.S. illegally. Another state's been drawn into a redistricting fight. A federal judge in Utah has ordered the Republican-controlled state legislature to come up with a new congressional map for the Democratic stronghold of Salt Lake City, because the new ones, she says, favor the GOP. Ryan Bell with the group Better Boundaries.
We respect the power that the legislature has. We expect the legislature to respect the power that the people have.
Both Texas and California are already dealing with redistricting issues. A towering wall of dust rolled through parts of Arizona.
Boom. All of a sudden, you couldn't see anything.
KPHO-TV's Stephanie Dupree and her cameraman were on the road in Phoenix when they were blinded by a phenomenon called a haboob. Correspondent Carter Evans.
Scary images from Phoenix as a massive wall of dust seemingly brings life to a screeching halt. It's an apocalyptic scene of dust storm clouds surrounding Arizona State's football stadium. The storm also forced an hour-long ground stop for all flights at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport.
Power was knocked out to thousands of customers. There's a new report on the active ingredient in pot and what it can do to your mental health. CBS's Michael George has the details.
A University of Colorado study found that products with a high concentration of THC, which means 10% or more THC per serving, are linked to psychosis, schizophrenia, and cannabis use disorder. But the researchers say more study is needed.
The Dow is down 24 points in early trading. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
7:03 Tuesday morning. Chris Sullivan is watching traffic.
And we've settled into kind of a typical Tuesday pattern out there, and nothing blocking, so let's try to keep that going. But there are some brake lights here and there to get in your way. Like if you're coming up the Valley Freeway, you're going to have pretty heavy brake lights through the Auburn area, a little bit at the north end. We're running around 45 minutes now, but it could push up to 50 off and on, depending on how you hit the volume all the way. Looking at Renton to Bellevue at about a half an hour now. We've got 30 minutes into South Center, 30 minutes from, so that puts us right right on an hour to go from Federal Way to Seattle. Nothing unusual about that. The Olympia to Tacoma drive, though, is nice and easy. Coming down from the north end, you are going to see some brake lights right around the Everett Mall, and then a nice gap until you get to Linwood. 405 is about 10 minutes slower than I-5, but that's not unusual. About an hour from Everett to Bellevue, 50 minutes from Everett to Seattle. The lake bridges are fine. This report brought to you by ProSculpt, the one-day permanent fat loss skin tightening solution for men and women, offered by New Skin Med Spa in Bellevue. Book your free consultation, prosculpt.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
It's 7:04. Good morning. The FBI is now leading a major search near Leavenworth for Travis Decker, the man wanted in the murders of his 3 daughters nearly 3 months ago.
Federal, state, and local teams are combing the Rock Island campground area, the scene of the crime. Many hoped a press conference yesterday would bring a break in the case, but it did not.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with the latest.
Yeah, no big break in the case, but there are 3 new pieces of information that came out of that press conference. Investigators are expanding their search for any new evidence about a quarter mile out from the crime scene. Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison says it's a tactic based on behavioral analysis.
Looking into similar cases, we found that historically and typically that you found the homicide suspect and those responsible within a quarter mile of the scene, either alive and or deceased.
Also, FBI Special Agent Peter Orth says they want to plot a larger grid of what happened and where it happened at that scene, especially before the weather changes and possibly ruins any evidence they have not found yet. It is a big operation going on right now.
There are nearly 100 FBI and partner agencies personnel on the ground. We have specialty teams from the federal government all deployed here today and tomorrow for this operation.
And finally, investigators are using pretty sophisticated electronic equipment to create that new grid of the crime scene. They're really doing it in case it takes years to find Decker dead or alive.
We want to support and provide a solid foundation for our investigation and what areas we have searched for future investigators when they come on scene if we haven't settled this or found Travis in the next couple of years.
So about that press conference yesterday, sometimes the FBI uses that opportunity to release a new nugget of information, sometimes to put pressure on a suspect. Let's say, like if they're watching. Well, I didn't hear any of that yesterday, Charlie and Manda. Instead, making a grid like they are, this crime scene, pretty standard, especially with winter coming. That way they can study the crime scene without having to go back again and again. But that said, late last week, I spoke with the sheriff, Mike Morrison, and he told me they have a long list of evidence they've already collected from that crime scene that they have not yet shared with the public.
And Luke, one thing I found interesting about the press conference, too, the sheriff said they were kind of limited in how much they could offer as a reward. But then he said that doesn't stop a private individual or a group from establishing a reward for finding Decker.
U.S. Marshals offering a $20,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. But yes, I found that interesting, too, almost enticing someone, hey, if there's someone out there, let's put the pressure on.
Okay, Luke, thank you for the update. It's 7:07 now. A container ship captain pleads not guilty for allegedly operating under the influence while docking in Seattle.
Coast Guard officials arrested 48-year-old Ola Danilin of Ukraine for operating 3 times the legal limit. Maritime lawyer Charles Moore tells KIRO 7 TV.
The Coast Guard has zero tolerance on board. No alcohol, no drugs on vessels. Not operating commercial vessels. It's zero tolerance.
Danilin claimed the alcohol odor came from mouthwash used minutes before arrival. He's now in King County Jail with a pretrial hearing set for tomorrow.
The Department of Justice continues to chip away at one of the world's most notorious drug cartels. KIRO News Radio's Gwen Baumgartner explains 2 major takedowns that unfolded this week.
The founder of Mexico's Sinaloa cartel pleading guilty to charges in a New York court Monday. And across the country, federal agents announcing charges for 19 people connected to the Sinaloa cartel who are operating in Washington. The DEA says a 2-year investigation found members of the drug ring moving truckloads of guns and drugs from Lacey to Whidbey Island. Agents seizing nearly 7 million lethal doses.
This could have killed every person in every community in the Puget Sound region. The Sinaloa cartel peddles this poison for one reason: to make money.
That's DEA Special Agent David Reams, who says despite the recent arrests, the cartel still maintains a presence in Washington. Gwen Baumgartner, KIRO News Radio.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Thanks for being with us. I'm Manda Factor.
I'm Charlie Harger. Good morning, Manda. I always love that song.
I
It
do
wakes
too.
me up.
I know.
We have David Burbank in the studio. Nick is at the control room picking the music and running the boards. Katrina is out in the newsroom following the day's top stories. A lot going on today, of course.
Oh, yeah. One of the major stories, while it's sunny in 88, PSL is back at Starbucks.
The pumpkin spice latte.
Yes, I'm ready for fall. How about you?
You know what? I am enjoying being out on the patio in the evening, in the
Beautiful.
morning. So I can hold off on fall for a few more weeks.
You got to soak in the heat while you can, because we'll be whining about the rain here soon.
The big gray on the way. Sully, you have a choke point preparing us for Labor Day?
Yeah, got to take a look at pretty much most modes of traffic and what you're going to need to know to kind of have a survival guide so you're not going to be stuck in long lines or heavy traffic.
Oh. Okay, and in today's commentary, I'm going to talk about $4 billion we've spent and how China made it all go up in smoke in a matter of a week.
It's 7:09. Seattle police are searching for a suspect who shot a 47-year-old man in Belltown last night. KIRO 7 TV's Jake Chapman has details.
Seattle police found a man shot in the leg. Now, Seattle police did take him to Harborview Medical Center, and he is expected to be okay. But business owners say this sort of violence, well, it's just becoming way too common. And police were out on Friday on 1st and Blanchard after someone was shot during an attempted armed robbery. Now, the spa owner we spoke with in this neighborhood tells me that everyone who lives and works here is just frustrated.
We are not being allowed to live and enjoy this historical neighborhood.
We have reached out to Councilman Bob Kettle, who represents the district that Belltown is in, about these concerns.
A student who brought a loaded gun to Arlington High School last year won't be returning. King TV reports the district made the decision last night after meeting with the student's family. The 14-year-old was arrested in February with a handgun that had the safety off and a bullet in the chamber. Parents packed last night's school board meeting calling for a zero-tolerance policy.
Enough is enough. We need clear consequences for violent crimes and demand transparency from our district to keep parents informed on situations involving guns on campus.
More than 1,300 people signed a petition to keep students with serious criminal records off campus. The district says privacy laws prevent them from sharing what's next for the student.
For nearly 2 months, the Bear Gulch fire has ripped through parts of the Olympic National Forest near Lake Cushman. Latest data puts containment at just 13%, nearly 9,000 acres burned. Ryan Rodruck with DNR says those numbers are worsening.
That's mostly due to the hot, dry conditions that we're going to be experiencing and continue to experience in Western Washington. However, thankfully, those smoke impacts are really being kept to a minimum.
Washington's wildfire season started earlier than usual this year, fueled by the hot, dry conditions. But Rodruck says the total acreage burned is below the state's 10-year average.
History continues for Cal Raleigh.
And the 3-2 on the way to Cal. Swinging a well-hit ball deep to left field. Head into the upper deck. Stay fair. Upper deck. Goodbye baseball. Number 50 for Cal Raleigh.
The big dumper joined rarefied air with that knock, becoming one of just 33 players in baseball history to hit 50 home runs in just one season. He's one of only 2 Mariners to hit that mark, along with Ken Griffey Jr. Next spot in history to watch for is Mickey Mantle's record for the most home runs by a switch hitter in a season. That number is 54. It is must-watch baseball. Raleigh and the Mariners continue their series against San Diego tonight. First pitch at 6:40. You can hear it on our sister station, 710 Seattle Sports.
It's 7:12. Time for a check on the weather. It's brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. And we check in with KIRO 7 TV's Robert Van Winkle.
Hi, folks. We are looking at another hot day again across all of our part of Washington. Temperatures are going to be running at least 10 degrees above average. I got a high of about 88 degrees on tap. Sky conditions will be partly cloudy to mostly cloudy at times, but these are not rain-producing clouds. And the other big thing to notice in the weather today is it's going to be a little hazy. Once again, visibility reduced. We're not in the unhealthy level for particulates, but it does look outside like a kind of a hazy afternoon is on tap. So today, very warm, way above average. It looks like a couple of downpours over the mountains develop later this week, but our cooler weather waits to come back on the weekend. So by the weekend, we should be back back into the 70s. Hang in there. One more really, really hot day for today.
We can do it. Get through it together. Sunshine and 64 in Seattle right now.
7:13, traffic on the 3s with Chris Sullivan.
And we have settled in. We're looking pretty decent for a Tuesday. It's no real surprises out there for you. Travel times right about where they should be. Now, southbound I-5 does have some braking getting away from the Everett Mall down past 128. That just appears to be some volume rolling through. I've been checking the cameras, haven't found anything, but that's one of the reasons why we're rolling at about an hour now from Everett into Seattle, because of the brake lights you have to go through there. And then you hit the on and off slowing through Mount Lake Terrace down through Shoreline. More yellow than red, so not too bad. For 405, it's also a little over an hour as we hit the brake lights really hard out of Canyon Park down through 522. Federal Way to Seattle, a little over an hour now because of the brakes that you're hitting right by the Kent Des Moines Road. Nice long gap until you get up to about the north end of Boeing Field, but then those last couple of miles are not going to be easy. Renton to Bellevue, over 30 minutes now, and behind that we definitely have about a 50-minute trip from Puyallup to Renton. Really heavy on 410 coming out of Sumner today. Shocker, because the White River Bridge continues to be closed in Buckley, and that is the primary alternate for people to get around and work their way back up. So that's going to be with us for a long time. Looking at the Olympia to Tacoma Drive at about 35 minutes. The lake bridges are in fine shape. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
And at 7:15, a tale of when Hollywood meets high-tech plumbing. KIRO News Radio's Katrina Gishard is here to explain.
Actor Harrison Ford says he recently called up Jay Leno for the first time in over a decade with one very specific request: a new toilet seat. He explained the old one in his Wyoming home was ugly and discolored, and since the model's been discontinued, he needed Leno's 3D printer to make a custom replacement. Here's a clip of him talking about it on NPR.
He embraced the project in a way that I thought I never could have imagined. People appeared from the depths out of the shadows, and they got involved in it.
The 83-year-old star joked it'll be the new throne in his office. Oh, and while he's waiting on that seat, he's also up for his first ever Emmy for Shrinking on Apple TV.
That is a great show. Season 3, they just finished filming, and a bunch of big names are joining it.
Oh, yeah?
Michael J. Fox is joining the cast.
Okay.
No word on its premiere date, but I can't wait.
Did we have Jay Leno, Han Solo, and a 3D printed toilet seat? I believe
All
we did.
in one story.
Yeah.
Katrina, thank you.
Anything is possible.
7:16.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
All right, Labor Day weekend is just about here. I know you have your plans, and they're better than anyone else's, and there's no way you're going to get stuck in traffic or a long ferry line, right?
But if you haven't started planning, Sully is here to help.
And I'll do my best to try to help you guys get around this as best I can. I know most of us are going to be driving, but I'm going to start with flying because it could be another record-breaking weekend at Seattle International Airport, affectionately known by Charlie as SEA. More than 1 million people are expected. More than 1 million people are expected to travel through the airport from Thursday to Tuesday, a 7% increase over last year. So be prepared. It is going to be pretty well packed in there. Not too late to grab a flight. In fact, AAA says domestic round-trip flights are running about 6% cheaper than Labor Day last year. So that's something to think of. And of course, if you're picking somebody up or dropping somebody off, always think opposite at the airport. That means use the departures deck to pick up and the arrivals deck to drop off, because you usually are going opposite of when the people are going. And that works really, really well. Man, I know you don't believe that.
I'm a rule follower. I can't do it.
Yes, you got to think opposite. You got to think opposite. You'll save yourself so much time. Now, if you are driving, you're going to find it much cheaper to fill up this. Oh, no, that's everywhere else across the country but here. The national average for gasoline, a gallon, $3.18. That's down about 20 cents from this time last year, but no joy here in Washington. Our average price per gallon is $4.40. That's 22 cents more expensive than last year. Add that up, and that's a 42-cent difference. I know Charlie's going to have something to say about that coming up in the bottom of the hour with his commentary. My best advice for Labor Day driving is pretty simple. You leave early or you leave late. I know it sounds really silly to say that because nobody wants to be in the road in the middle of the day at all costs. You want to avoid that because that's when everyone's going. If you get on the road before 10 a.m. or maybe wait until after 7 p.m., especially Thursday, Friday, you'll probably stay out of most of it. Great news for drivers is that most, if not all, construction is taking a break for the weekend. That'll really come in handy over the Columbia River Bridge in Vantage. We're going to have all the lanes of the bridge open from Thursday to Tuesday, so that is Friday to Tuesday. So that's going to be a really good benefit for people heading east over the river. Ferry riders, you know the drill. Expect long westbound lines starting Thursday afternoon. Several 100,000 people will be using the ferries this Labor Day weekend. As for getting home, I always suggest coming back a day early or maybe a day after everybody else, so that maybe come home Sunday or maybe Tuesday. Monday afternoon is not when you want to be on the road or waiting for a ferry heading eastbound. So just plan your trip as best you can. Get the kids a little uncomfortable super early and try to get out there before everybody else does. But that's really the best thing you can do with so many people out there.
I was just down 3 weeks ago driving to Aberdeen to visit my mom, and I noticed there were still a lot of the lane closures on the way there. Where do things stand with that?
Well, they're still working on that one, probably closest to the McCleary side, other than Montesano. Last time I went down there, they still had that first fish passage project down to one lane in each direction. There was another spot a little closer to Satsip there right by the golf course. But other than that, they're making good progress. Most of those are going away, but they still haven't quite finished all of them. So you'll still have some zipper merges to deal with on Sunday or Monday coming home. But the vast improvement over this time last year.
And I didn't hear your pitch for Spot Saver.
Well,
it saved me. You know what? It saved time even faster than TSA PreCheck.
Yeah, Spot Saver is the best. If you haven't used it before at the airport, up to 5 days in advance now, you can plan your spot at whatever TSA checkpoint you want to, and you go right in at your time. You have 15 minutes on either side. Even if you're going and you find yourself there and you're in one of those really absurd long lines, you can always check it. You never know. Maybe you can get lucky. But yeah, Spot Saver is the greatest. I don't know why more people don't use it, but maybe that's good for people like you and me, Charlie, who do, and we have no problems getting in and out. So yeah, that's a Spot Saver is a good one.
Okay. So you have this written up on mynorthwest.com.
Yeah, of course. Plus, I've got all those really fun graphs from the Department of Transportation that show you when not to leave, which is basically a 12-hour period of nothing but a red line, like don't travel now. But yeah, so you'll get through it. Just have some fun, be patient, and just plan for knowing it's going to be frustrating, and you'll be okay.
And have a nice holiday weekend. While we're talking about transportation, the city of Buckley is talking about new options to help drivers get around the White River Bridge. We get the latest on this from KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas.
A very lengthy detour has been in place since a semi-truck crashed into it more than a week ago. It could be another month before it reopens. Pedestrians and bicyclists are currently using the Foothills Trail Bridge to get from Enumclaw to Buckley. The city is now looking to implement a temporary shuttle service on that road to transport people.
Pierce Transit celebrating a major milestone with the grand opening of the Spanaway Transit Center. Pierce Transit CEO Mike Griffiths tells KIRO 7 TV it's the agency's first new hub in 27 years.
Even though the speed limit is 45, you can clock people going 55 miles an hour down this highway. Just being able to pull into a place where they can get away from all of that will be great.
The center will serve as the southern terminus for Route 1 and the Stream Community Line, which saw 1.2 million riders last year. There's a 38-space park and ride with plans to expand parking and access by 2027.
And man's best friend just got an upgrade aboard Washington State ferries. A new trial period allows dogs to chill with their owners throughout the interior cabins. Up until last week, leashed dogs were restricted to exterior decks. In February, the agency will decide if this will become permanent. You can find more on this at mynorthwest.com, including the rules and restrictions.
All right, we check traffic for you every 10 minutes. Sully is keeping an eagle eye on the roadways right now.
Amanda, what's the fare for a dog?
I'm assuming free.
Yeah, I just want to make sure people you get to the, hey, everybody, here's my dog. Oh, it's $600 to take my blood.
But they have to be a really good boy.
Yeah, so that one's free. So just keep an eye. And also to follow up on your Buckley story, with that White River Bridge closed, we're seeing a lot more volume these days on westbound 410 later into the morning, trying to get through Sumner and over to 167. That's part of a 38-mile detour to get around and back to go between Buckley and Enumclaw. So we're backing up through basically from Valley Ave all the way to 167. Once you get to 167, it's really not all that bad. We're running around 50 minutes. That's about average for a Tuesday. And then about a 35-minute trip from Renton to Bellevue. Federal Way to Seattle's a little over an hour now. Still have brake lights from 320th up past 272nd. Then it starts thinning out. Then you hit it again, kind of the middle of Boeing Field. So plan on some delays there. A little bit of slowing up the hill towards Highway 18 coming out of Fife. Checking to see if we might have a crash there. Olympia to Tacoma, behind that, not bad at all. And coming down from the north end, still very slow past the Everett Mall down towards about 112th before thinning out, and then more away from the Alderwood Mall. We've got about an hour and 5-minute trip for both Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. The lake bridges are fine. This report brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Beat inflation at Lake Washington Windows and Doors for a limited time. Save up to 20% inflation discounts and 18 months free financing. Learn more at lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Our forecast, the heat is here for one more day. 88 our expected high in Seattle with a mix of sun and clouds. Tomorrow, clouds early on, sunshine in the afternoon. We'll cool down to about 81 tomorrow. Same deal on Thursday. Friday, it looks like sunny and 85. But then for the weekend, the entire Labor Day weekend, highs in the mid-70s. Right now, it's 64 in Seattle.
Coming up, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey on a shooting in Seattle's Belltown neighborhood yesterday.
And Charlie, you have a commentary coming up.
Yeah, Washington drivers have paid $4 billion toward the Climate Commitment Act. So what do we have to show for it? I dive into the data in the commentary at 7:35.
The Jake and Spike Show.
If you are watching on YouTube, you're going to see a giant snake here in just a minute.
Weekdays noon to 3.
Monroe Reptile Zoo in with us right now. Isaac Peterson joins us.
This is linguini tates and Burmese python, albino Burmese python.
Albino Burmese python.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Spike is going to wear him. There we go.
I made the really bad mistake of eating a live mouse before the segment, and maybe he smells it on my breath.
Most people don't get comfortable with Spike that quickly.
No, I know. It takes most of my co-hosts at least a year.
Watch the Jake and Spike Show live on YouTube or the KIRO News Radio app.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Are you looking at senior living options for you or a loved one? If so, you likely have many questions like, what can I afford? How long will my savings last? And if I run out of money, will I have to move out? If these questions are weighing on you, I'm here to talk you through different solutions. Hi, I'm Amanda from Care Partners Senior Living. At Care Partners, we're focused on offering high-quality, compassionate care at very affordable prices to help stretch and preserve your assets. And if you ever run out of funds and need to convert to Medicaid, you won't have to move. We have vibrant communities throughout Western Washington, Spokane, and Arizona offering independent, assisted living, and memory care. Our caregivers are some of the most loving and genuine people you'll ever meet. Stretch your assets, preserve your estate, and never worry about moving. That's peace of mind in the Care Partners Living difference. Learn more at carepartnersliving.com. Care Partners is excited to announce our newest communities in Port Orchard, Sumner, Snohomish, and North Creek Bothell. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these 3 books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. So, Greg, we've got a new administration. What have we seen as a result at the IRS?
Well, the result that I think everyone has seen is, unfortunately, reduction in staff.
And yet people think that because of those reductions, they're in a better spot.
Well, it's not necessarily the case because the IRS is still going to work with the staff that they have. And in fact, their collection activity is going up.
But now is also the best time to get something done that could be favorable to the taxpayer who owes.
It's very interesting. I've had 2 cases now where that I was able to get settled with the IRS fairly quickly and with some excellent results. I think they're just trying to get any case where there's a real live person working on it through the system quicker. They're needing to handle a lot more cases. The caseload isn't going to slow down.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn, None Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967, or Google NUNN, None Better Tax Resolution.
Send off summer with the power of 0 at Kendall Ford of Marysville. Get 0% APR, make 0 down payment, and have 0 payment for up to 90 days on select new Fords. Go electric and save an incredible $17,000 off MSRP on a new all-wheel drive 2024 Ford F-150 Lightning Pro Crew Cab, and get 0% APR. Save over $2,300 off MSRP on a new 2025 Ford Mustang Mach-E Select, and get 0% APR. Save over $2,300 off MSRP on a new 2025 Ford Bronco Sport Big Bend 4x4. Check out the savings and stop by Kendall Ford of Marysville today. Kendall, let's start something great.
VIN number RWG 33493, SMA 24296, and SRE 72794. $20.83 per month for $1,000 finance, subject to credit approval before credit. Interest will accrue during the deferred payment period. All factor rebates subject to change. Price does not include taxes, title, or license. A negotiable documentary service fee of up to $200 may be added to the sale price of the vehicle, subject to prior sales. See dealer for details. Offer expires 9/2/25.
Cars for Kids, the easy way to donate your car. Donate today and your car can be picked up tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.com or 1-877-CARS4KIDS.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is now 7:30. Seattle police are on the hunt for a gunman after a man was shot in the leg in Belltown last night.
The shooting has detectives looking for answers and neighbors frustrated. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with the latest.
Yeah, Charlie, that 47-year-old victim was shot at 3rd Avenue in Blanchard during rush hour last night, about 6 o'clock. Neighbors say they've had it with crime in that area. Listen to what this shop owner told KIRO 7 TV.
It's always been a little gritty, and I love that. But this is something that's been totally... We are not being allowed to live and enjoy this historical neighborhood.
Part of the ongoing crime issue in the Seattle streets. Police say right before they got to the scene, there was a fight between several people in that area. The suspect then pulled out a gun and fired. Another person involved in that altercation took the gun away from the shooter, then took off. The suspect then also took off. The victim was taken to Harborview Medical Center in stable condition. Police say they have video of the shooting. They are analyzing it right now. We're going to see if that leads to an arrest.
Thanks for that update, Luke. Search teams are back in the area near Rock Island Campground in Leavenworth. That's where Travis Decker is accused of killing his 3 daughters. Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison says they want to ensure they didn't miss anything.
Making sure that we're checking our boxes and doing everything we can to best map it out in the future in case there comes a time where I'm not in office or our investigators aren't in office. It's well documented. There's a well-established history. Anyone can pick up where we left off.
Morrison says the manhunt for Decker is closing in on 3 months, and investigators still can't say they are certain if he's dead or alive. The FBI is leading this latest search effort.
The U.S. Department of Transportation is warning Washington and 2 other states they will lose federal funding unless they comply with English language proficiency rules for commercial drivers. Washington, California, and New Mexico have 30 days to act or risk losing millions from the Motor Carrier Safety Assistance Program. Secretary Sean Duffy cites a deadly Florida crash and failed inspections. The move is part of a broader push to tighten commercial driver's license oversight and improve road safety nationwide.
2 people escaped with minor injuries after a small plane crashed in Pierce County yesterday afternoon. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas.
Central and Pierce Fire and Rescue responded to the plane in the brush around 3. This was just outside Thun Field. 2 people were on board. Both had just minor injuries. We're told the plane was going through a test flight and the pilots crashed trying to return to the runway.
Charlie's commentary coming up at 7:33. First, we need to check the drive. We check traffic every 10 minutes on the 3s, and here's Chris Sully.
And I did find a little bit of a crash on southbound I-5 right before 112, after 112th and before 128 in the South Everett areas over on the right-hand shoulder. That's the reason why we're kind of slow pulling away from the Everett Mall down through the area. But then it's not too bad through Mount Lake Terrace compared to the bumper-to-bumper we have through Canyon Park, as we are looking at about an hour and 5-minute trip for both Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. Northbound 405 is seeing a pretty normal drive. We've got about a 35 to 40-minute trip from Renton to Bellevue. Behind that on the Valley Freeway, about 50. That's average for this time of day. Olympia to Tacoma, nice and easy at about 35 to 40 minutes. Didn't find a crash up the hill out of Fife, but it is kind of slow towards 18. And then Federal Way to Seattle's a little over an hour at this point. Looking at Highway 18, it is bumper to bumper over the top of Tiger Mountain. Lake Bridges, though, they are still hanging in there and in pretty decent shape. This report brought to you by Superior Linen Service, 98 years servicing quality uniforms, floor mats, linens, logoed apparel, and more. Call Superior Linen Service. They answer the phone. Or visit suplinen.com.
Our forecast, sunshine by afternoon. We're seeing some clouds this morning. It's going to be hot one more day. 88 in Seattle today, warmer toward the foothills. For tomorrow, you'll wake up to clouds, some sunshine by afternoon, but only 81 tomorrow. Same deal on Wednesday. Another hot one on Friday. We'll be in the mid-80s. But then for the weekend, long holiday weekend, partly to mostly sunny with highs in the mid-70s. Right now in Seattle, we have partly sunny skies at 64.
Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime.
Seattle's morning news, wherever you are.
Coming up on 7:35, Washington spent $4 billion on the climate. China erased it in a week. Time for today's commentary. Remember when Governor Inslee promised the Climate Commitment Act would cost just pennies? Lawmakers called it essential to cut carbon emissions. And at the time, the governor assured Matt Markovich,
this is going to have minimal impact, if any, pennies. We're talking about pennies, potentially. Not all of this would be passed off to the consumers, and what they would be pennies.
Washington drivers have paid $4 billion more for gas since then. That's nearly $700 per driver in our state for a climate program we can't even prove is working. The CCA went into effect in January 2023 with carbon auctions. Fuel companies buy carbon allowances, and despite what Inslee said, they pass that cost straight to drivers. And the result, gas prices here in Seattle immediately split from Portland's. August 2022, before the program, prices were roughly the same in both cities, about $4.85 a gallon. Now, Seattle's $4.57, Portland is $4.09. That's 48 cents more per gallon. That's about $8 extra every time you fill up. Now, let's be clear. Climate change is real. Global carbon emissions absolutely need to come down. But Washington State produces less than 0.2% of global emissions. We could ban cars statewide tomorrow, and the planet wouldn't notice. China opens a new coal plant just about every week now. Just one of those plants produces more carbon than Washington hopes to save in an entire year with the CCA. Our $4 billion up in smoke. That's why experts warn climate change isn't solved by one medium-sized state. It takes the whole world. Supporters say the money isn't wasted. They point to electric buses, charging stations, clean energy investments, and at its best, the CCA gives Washington a chance to speed up clean energy technology that could matter far beyond our borders. But the conservative-leaning Washington Policy Center found that nearly 70% of the spending so far is tied up in government staffing and planning. Only 9% of the CCA goes to tangible things like forest health or air pollution reduction. And we still don't know if emissions are actually going down. The Department of Ecology won't release those data until at least next year. 2 years, $4 billion into this experiment, and nobody is saying if it works. Washington voters upheld the Climate Commitment Act last November. The people have spoken. It's not going anywhere. The question isn't whether we should fight climate change. We should. The question is whether Washington families should pay $4 billion for a symbolic gesture, while real solutions require federal and international action. We are spending billions to save a few million tons in Washington, and China erased it in weeks. And remember, this isn't a one-time hit. We'll be paying billions again next year, too. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Text us at 888-973-5476. Jump in the chat at YouTube Live, at KIRO News Radio. And you can also leave a comment at mynorthwest.com.
I would imagine Sully has some comments. We'll move along and talk about Labor Day travel. Seattle's the number one spot in the country for Labor Day travel this year. AAA ranked it ahead of cities like New York and Orlando. Cruise traffic, festivals, cheaper travel costs are all driving the demand. AAA says hotel rates are down 11% and flights are slightly cheaper than last year. One of Seattle's most influential entrepreneurs has died. Gordon Bowker, who helped start Starbucks and Red Hook Brewery, died last week at age 82. Bowker's ad firm created those unforgettable Rainier beer commercials and the first Starbucks logo, too. Bowker also helped launch Seattle Weekly and wrote restaurant reviews. According to the Seattle Times, his longtime friend, Zev Siegel, says Bowker loved the challenge of starting something new. He met Siegel and Jerry Baldwin in college, and together they founded Starbucks, where starting today, you can pick up a pumpkin spice latte. One of the most celebrated days of the year for coffee drinkers.
It's 7:39. Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
Other than biting my tongue until it bleeds, looking at the drive, we're going to look at the brake lights on southbound I-5 as you approach 128. We'll break it down for you next.
The Jake and Spike Show.
If you are watching on YouTube, you're going to see a giant snake here in just a minute.
Weekdays noon to 3.
Monroe Reptile Zoo in with us right now. Isaac Peterson joins us.
This is linguini. It's a Burmese python, albino Burmese python.
Albino Burmese python.
Yeah.
Oh, Spike is going to wear him. There we go.
I made the really bad mistake of eating a live mouse before the segment, and maybe he smells it on my breath.
Most people don't get comfortable with Spike that quickly.
No, I know. It takes most of my co-hosts at least a year.
Watch the Jake and Spike Show live on YouTube or the KIRO Newsradio app.
When you walked through your kitchen this morning, what'd you see? Did it make you happy? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Well, I want to make you happy. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves, whatever you like. We'll help you to create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, time, and expense than to tear out. Stop waiting. For 18 years, we've been honored to serve thousands of happy customers, and we'd love to serve you. Call today and I'll get one of our pros to come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
$83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise, there's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
At 7:43, we head over to Sully at the traffic desk.
And we've been looking at pretty heavy traffic getting away from the Everett Mall down past 128th for the last little bit. Still have the State Patrol over on the right-hand shoulder there as you get down towards 128th, but most of the backup is disappearing. And then once you get through that I-5, isn't terrible the whole rest of the way. It's about an hour from Everett to Seattle and about an hour and 10 minutes now from Everett to Bellevue as the brake lights are seeing very heavy conditions as you work your way past Canyon Park down through 522. The northbound 405 corridor, we're looking at brake lights in the usual places and about a 40-minute trip for you. Behind that, the Valley Freeway struggling a little bit off and on. We've got 50 minutes from Puyallup to Renton with more than 30 out of Auburn. Federal Way to Seattle's about an hour and 10 minutes for you guys. The Lake Bridges are still in pretty good shape, though. Westbound I-90 is starting to pick up some braking off the west tip of Mercer Island. Looking at Highway 18 being a little slow, working your way across Tiger Mountain. Getting reports there might be a stall in a lane in the westbound direction at Tiger Mountain. I'll have more for you on that one in 10 minutes. Olympia to Tacoma has no issues. 16 starting to see a little bit of slowing past Cheney Stadium, but that's average for this time of day. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Our forecast, we're going to have to get through one more hot day, and then we'll cool off tomorrow. 88 today. Tomorrow, waking up to some clouds in the morning, partly sunny by afternoon, and only 81. Same deal on Wednesday. Be a tick warmer on Friday, but then for the weekend, we're going to get back to more normal temperatures around here right through the holiday. Partly sunny and highs in the mid-70s. Right now, it's 64 in Seattle.
At 7:45, Will Smith is making headlines on his first concert tour in 2 decades, but not just for the music. Katrina is here to explain.
A clip Smith posted of the British leg of his tour shows the Fresh Prince singing to large crowds and fans waving posters and cheering him on.
The brighter the heaven you get to enjoy, the harder you fall, the higher you soar.
But some online detectives say there are telltale signs of AI. The evidence: one man's knuckle is blurred into his poster. Others have 6 fingers on one hand. And in some wide shots, the faces of the crowd appear to be distorted. So far, no comment from Smith. He's still banned from all Academy Award-related events after he infamously slapped Chris Rock back in 2022.
I find it hard to believe the Fresh Prince could be fraudulent.
Who knows?
We'll get Detective Jazzy Jeff on this.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Katrina. Coming up, we have more of the day's top stories, including a conversation with News Nation's Tom Dempsey in Washington, D.C. That's where President Trump is calling for the resignation of a Federal Reserve governor. Tom will have all the details next.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain and and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
When the weather changes, your home shouldn't be the one left unprepared. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. We offer the strongest solutions in roofing, siding, decking, windows, and gutters, made for the Pacific Northwest. And right now, get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months or up to $3,000 off your next project. No gimmicks, no stress, just reliability you can count on. Visit stateroofing.com or call 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule your free estimate today.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
7:48 Tuesday morning. Thanks for being here with us. And the big news this morning surrounding the U.S. Central Bank. President Trump announced he intends to remove Fed Governor Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve Board of Governors.
This is the president's latest attack on the Federal Reserve. And News Nation reporter Tom Dempsey joins us this morning. Can you explain, Tom, what the president is accusing Lisa Cook of?
Hey, guys. Good morning. I'm actually in Washington, D.C. right now, standing just outside the West Wing of the White House. So, yeah, big, even more tension rising between President Donald Trump and the Federal Reserve with all this, calling on for Lisa Cook. She's a Federal Reserve Board member to be fired. And if listeners are out there wondering, what is this all about? Well, this kind of started earlier this month. Accusations came down last week from a man named Bill Pulte, who heads the Federal Housing Finance Agency, and he claimed that Cook claimed 2 primary residences back in 2021, one in Michigan, one in Georgia, and he accuses her of doing that to try and get better mortgage rates. So, in response to all this, President Trump is saying that Lisa Cook should be replaced. She should be fired. Lisa Cook sent News Nation a statement saying that she has no intentions of leaving her post, and her attorneys saying that they do intend to fight this in court. So this could be an extensive legal battle moving forward. It may even end up in front of the Supreme Court. And here's the thing that's important to keep in mind with all this. To remove a sitting Federal Reserve Board member, you need to show cause. You need to show some sort of wrongdoing. You can't, remove them for simply political differences. And we've seen some of this play out, here in D.C. because President Trump has not been happy at all with Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. His nickname is Too Late. Because of his handling of federal interest rates. President Trump obviously wants them to see them go down. He says the economy is doing very well right now, and interest rates should be far lower than they currently are right now. But Jerome Powell has kept them steady ever since President Trump took office for this second term. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with all this, because if President Trump succeeds, he can name another member to the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, the board, which votes on setting those interest rates. So, again, expect a big legal fight ahead with all this.
So this sounds like this is not something that is going to happen today, that it might take at least a little bit of time if it has to work its way through the court system, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be something that's, it's going to get a little nuanced here and there. What constitutes wrongdoing by a Federal Reserve Board member? Could it be claiming primary residences? And if those allegations are somehow proven right in court that she tried to get better mortgage rates as a result of that? Is that enough to remove the, Federal Reserve Board member from their post? Again, this could end up in the Supreme Court. And, for President Trump, he really wants to see, like I said, interest rates lowered, and he's really directed a lot of his anger at the chairman, Jerome Powell. But if he succeeds with this, he can name another person who might be very much in favor of lowering interest rates. So, again, there's going to be a big legal fight forward with this.
What happens after the president names somebody? What's the process?
Well, here's the thing. So he's going to be looking for someone who he's already come out and said that he's only going to appoint Federal Reserve leaders who support lowering interest rates. So, to answer your question, sort of what happens with this moving forward, this is really kind of unprecedented territory. We've never seen a president publicly call for the firing of one of the board members. So some of this is kind of unknown, sort of what to expect moving forward. But I think, for listeners at home, this is definitely a surprise, unprecedented sort of for a president to come out and call for all this and what to expect moving forward. Again, a big legal fight that may very well end up in front of the Supreme Court.
Okay, we'll continue to follow this. Tom, we have you inside the White House, and I just have a few seconds here, but what's the protocol like when you're doing a live report? Do you have to go into a quiet area? Because I know when I'm doing a report, especially over the phone, I can be really, really loud.
So I'm going to set the scene for you. So there's this little small strip of lawn just outside the West Wing, literally the doors. If listeners out there ever watch TV and see, Vladimir Zelensky or a world leader showing up and Trump greeting him at the doors, I'm standing about 30 steps away from those doors right now, and there's a nice shaded area. It's a beautiful day in D.C., so there you go. That's where I'm standing right now. Don't have to keep my voice lower.
Okay, and the president, he does not open the door for you, right?
Unfortunately, he doesn't. I could tell him I'm on the phone with KIRO, and maybe he'll let me in, but I don't know.
Yeah, okay. We'll have his people get in contact. Hey, Tom Dempsey, always great talking. News Nation's Tom Dempsey joining us live on Seattle's Morning News.
Thank you. It's 7:53, and we need to check the drive. Chris Sullivan has our traffic every 10 minutes.
And I'm going to jump across the water and look at what we've got going on in Port Orchard. Looks like we've got a pretty sizable backup growing on westbound 16. Right around the corner, we've got the left lane there right before you get a block, right before you get to Gorse. So that one just popped up, and the backup is getting pretty heavy pretty quickly. Rest of the map, about average for a Tuesday. What we're seeing out of the north end, definitely thinning past the west, past 526. There, the Boeing Freeway working down towards 128th, and then not too bad the rest of the way. Average, hour and 10-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. And we've hit the $15 mark on southbound 405 as well, so it's a double 2 for Tuesday for our $15 max. Looking at the Lake Bridges, we're still in very good shape. Westbound 90, a little heavy off of Mercer Island. Rented to Bellevue, about 40 minutes. Behind that, the Valley Freeway settled into about 50. Nothing shocking about that. Heading up the hill from 5 to 18, a little slowing, but that's normal. And Federal Way to Seattle's about an hour and 10 minutes. Eastbound 18 over Tiger Mountain is not too bad at this point. The Maple Valley Highway, though, really heavy up through Cedar Grove. We've started to see that a little bit these days as well. This report brought to you by ProSculpt. ProSculpt, the one-day permanent fat loss and skin tightening solution for men and women. Offered by New Skin Med Spa in Bellevue. Book your free consultation, ProSculpt.com.
I had to make the observation I can be a little loud at times, as people might not be aware of that.
It's part of your charm.
Yeah, thank you. Not so charming is the hot weather today. We're looking for highs in the upper 80s, so another hot one today. Tomorrow we start to cool off into the 70s. By the weekend, Labor Day looks pleasant and dry. Right now in Seattle, we have partly cloudy skies and 62.
Coming up, more of the day's top stories, and New York Times investigative reporter David Fahrenthold breaks down the latest threats by President Trump on major cities. That's coming up at 8:15.
And remember, you can always text the show, 888-973-5476. This is Seattle's Morning News.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Wow, it's so good to finally be back home.
Is it me, or is it musty?
Oh, damp. Check the bathroom.
Damp!
The basement?
Damp! Wait!
Yeah?
I'm ordering damp bread!
So we don't have to move?
Eliminate damp, musty smells by trapping excess moisture. Get rid of the damp with Damp Rid.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji antiperspirant, what would it sound like?
First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
Save 50 to 75% by combining tax credits, rebates, and incentives on a new heat pump from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. After GOP success in Texas, more Republican-led states are strategizing on redistricting. CBS's Natalie Brand says lawmakers from Indiana will huddle at the White House.
CBS News has learned that several state lawmakers, including leaders of the state house there, will be coming here to the White House to meet with the president and some top administration officials in this effort to look at Republican-led states and try to get state legislatures to redraw congressional maps mid-decade ahead of the next round of midterms.
Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook is pushing back, vowing to stay on despite President Trump's social media post that he's firing her because of mortgage fraud allegations. Legal analyst Lori Levinson.
Under the Federal Reserve Act, President Trump cannot just dismiss a governor because he doesn't like her policies. In fact, he can only dismiss a governor if he can demonstrate cause, which means professional neglect or malfeasance.
A federal judge has just tossed out the Trump administration's lawsuit against Maryland's entire federal bench over an order that stopped the deportation of migrants challenging their removals. A whistleblower claims DOJ puts Social Security information at risk. As we hear from CBS's Michael Wallace.
In a newly filed complaint, the Social Security Administration's chief data officer says the Department of Government Efficiency uploaded a copy of a database with the personal information of hundreds of millions of Americans to a vulnerable cloud server. That database contains all the Social Security numbers issued by the government, plus names, addresses, and birth dates that could be used to steal people's identities.
Transportation Secretary Duffy threatens federal funding for 3 states, California, New Mexico, and Washington, for not enforcing English language proficiency requirements for truck drivers.
This is not just about saying we have some obscure rule that we want them to comply with, that truck drivers speak English proficiently. This is about keeping people safe on the road.
CBS's Kelly O'Grady says a private report out today indicates consumer confidence dipped this month.
People feel less sure that they're going to be able to find a job in the next 6 months or right now if they're looking, and their optimism about income growth also went down.
The Masters Golf Tournament says it will offer automatic invites to the winners of 6 national opens around the world at the expense of some fall PGA Tournament winners. Wall Street, the Dow is down 12 points. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
It's 8:03, and we check traffic every 10 minutes on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
Yeah, I got a couple things to tell you about that not necessarily on our bigger commuter routes, but I'm going to start with westbound Highway 18 over the top of Tiger Mountain. We've got a crash blocking the right lane. This involves a semi, so it might be there for a while. While this isn't impacting too much in the direction, there is a pretty sizable eastbound slowing because of it. In the Port Orchard area, we have a really sizable backup now, getting from about Sedgwick Road up and around the corner into Port Orchard and all the way almost to Gorse, where the left lane is blocked on westbound 16. So plan on an extra 10 minutes there. The rest of the map is about average. If you're going from Federal Way to Seattle, it's about an hour and 15 minutes. That's what it usually is on Tuesdays. With the heaviest brake lights there from the middle of Boeing Field on up, it's 40 minutes at least to go from South Center. We've got 45 minutes now from Renton to Bellevue, so we've added some action there. Behind that, the Valley Freeway's trying to get better, but it's still stuck at about 50 minutes. Olympia to Tacoma has no issues. Coming down out of the north end, we're easing off nicely away from the Boeing Freeway. Away from Linwood is really what the show's all about today. We've got about an hour and 5-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Seattle's Morning News, 8:04 on Tuesday, August 26, 2025. Thanks for joining us. I'm Charlie Harger with Manda Factor.
The FBI is now leading a major search near Leavenworth for Travis Decker, the man wanted in the murders of his 3 daughters nearly 3 months ago.
Federal, state, and local teams are combing the Rock Island campground area, the scene of the crime. A lot of us hoped the press conference yesterday would bring a break in the case, but it did not.
We did learn a few things, and KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is live with the latest.
It may not have sounded like it at first, but there are 3 new pieces of key evidence and information that came out of the press conference yesterday. Let's break it down. Investigators are expanding their search, they say now, for any new evidence, and they're expanding it about a quarter mile outside of the crime scene. Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison says it is a tactic based on behavioral analysis.
Looking into similar cases, we found that historically and typically that you found the homicide suspect and those responsible within a quarter mile of the scene, either alive and or deceased.
Also, FBI Special Agent Peter Orth says they want to plot a larger grid of what happened and where it happened in that area, especially before the weather changes and possibly ruins any evidence they have not yet found. It is a big operation going on right now.
There are nearly 100 FBI and partner agencies personnel on the ground. We have specialty teams from the federal government all deployed here today and tomorrow for this operation.
And finally, investigators are using some pretty sophisticated electronic equipment to create a new grid of that crime scene, and they're really doing it in case, and we've heard this kind of for the first time really confirmed yesterday, in case it takes years now to find Decker and falls to new investigators in the future.
Anyone can pick up where we left off. We saw this with the Green River Killer case that started in the early 80s, expanded out in the early 2000s. I can tell you that a lot of the investigators that were assigned to that case had long since retired. Again, we want to lay that kind of foundation in case our investigation goes that long.
You know, Charlie and Amanda, sometimes the FBI uses press conferences like this to, leverage the moment, to put new information out there, put pressure on a suspect if they know that they're out there watching or listening. I didn't hear any of that yesterday, but, instead making that grid of a crime scene pretty standard. But what they're doing is they want to be able to continue to study this crime scene over and over without going out there again and again and again. And that said, last week I talked with Sheriff Morrison, and he told me they have a long list of evidence that they have collected from that crime scene so far that they are not sharing with the public.
Okay, Luke, thank you for that update. Parents in Arlington say they're relieved. A student who brought a loaded gun to school last year won't be coming back.
King TV reports the 14-year-old was arrested in February after bringing that gun with a bullet in the chamber and a full magazine. Parents had packed a school board meeting last night demanding action.
Mandating constant teacher supervision, no backpack, and daily searches screams distrust, not reform.
This is unacceptable. It does not matter how many checks and balances are put in place. There will never be a time where somebody who has done that is considered safe.
District officials said last week that they were legally required to offer him a return, but after a meeting with the family, the district says that decision not to return was mutual.
Truckloads of drugs off the streets and cartel members behind bars. KIRO News Radio's Gwen Baumgartner explains the DEA's latest drug fighting operation in Seattle.
It took 2 years and more than a dozen tactical teams, but this month agents in Washington state struck a significant blow to the Sinaloa cartel, a Mexican drug trafficking organization and designated terrorist group. Special Agent David Reams with the DEA.
This group that dealt death and despair in our community.
13 members operating from Lacey to Whidbey Island are now behind bars, with law enforcement seizing arsenals of guns and drugs, enough lethal doses to kill most of Washington state. Special Agent Reams calls the recent drug bust a success, but says the Sinaloa cartel maintains a notable presence in Washington. Gwen Baumgartner, KIRO News Radio.